Industry. It's working off.
Hello, ma'am. Is
Share
there any
history.
problem? No, madam. We can't see. So I don't know.
Madam, place it.
You can join.
No, madam. This is everyone have participants have joined already. Madam, try to unmute now. We will put the slides from here. That is possible. We can unmute means.
Okay, so if you put the slide from there, no, even that thing for unmuting is not coming. It's not coming on the screen. I can see you, but I cannot. That button for unmuting is not coming. I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we are hearing her voice. Still.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Madam, 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm requesting from this
Hello?
side to unmute, madam, but muting is not happening.
Unmute is not happening from your side?
No. I am asking from my side to unmute, but from your side, you have to unmute like that it is
It's not
showing.
happening.
Madam, you do one thing, madam. Please join from mobile.
Yeah.
And once the slide is over, you can just let me know. I'll just change to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. You
Okay,
can
let
mention.
me try.
Yeah.
Let me try that.
Yeah.
Let me try that.
Okay. So we need to play this working now. So please share this to all the
Then we'll share the video. We'll keep the PPT ready.
Huh?
You keep the PPT ready.
PPT ready.
We with that. You share it.
Yeah, I shared the PPT. Let us say
Yeah.
changes.
Joining from further, then you can see.
Yeah, okay.
The audio is watching after the way and
On the phone, that will join on the first.
നമ്മൾ തെറ്റല്ലോ നല്ല ശരിയാക്കിട്ടോ ആരെ सब फ्री है She didn't join also.
She left some of the side.
Yes, no, she's here.
Oh, you're there. ചോദിക്കൂ എന്താണ്
ചോദിച്ചു മാഡം അവർക്ക് പറ്റണില്ല. ഷീസ് നോട്ട് ഏബിൾ ടു ഡു ഇറ്റ്. ഫോണൊന്ന് ചെയ്യട്ടെ.
അതല്ലേ നീ സംസാരിക്കുന്നു പറയണത്.
കിട്ടി.
വന്നോ? Hello. Hello, you can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Finally. So, you will be sharing this. I can hear echo.
From where sound?
Can you also hear an echo? Or is it clear?
Please tell
Somebody reply.
Hear from your side? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So finally, after all this technical glitch, I'm so sorry. It took so much time. But I can hear an echo, so I think that the people who have joined online, will they also be hearing an echo?
Off this mic.
So that feedback will take from them. Are there two mics that are open?
Somebody reply, no. What is this? Somebody reply, sir.
So, anyways, let us start.
Madam, now echo is not there. You can start, madam.
So let's talk about the teaching pedagogy for pharmacy from theory to practice. Next slide, please. What happened?
You wanna- What's
Hello. You stopped sharing? Yes. So I can continue, right?
Yes, madam. Please continue.
Yes, ma'am.
So next slide, please. So the Indian pharmaceutical industry is seeing a rapid rise from 2014 to 2000. Just as I said, 2026, it is currently valued at $60 billion, and it is predicted to reach $130 billion by 2030. So it is up to us whether we skill our workforce and reach this $130 billion prediction, or we are not able to scale effectively and miss the bus. I'm sure we don't want to miss the bus, and so we have to see how this can be possible. So there is this echo for me, like everything, whatever I'm saying, it's getting repeated. I don't know, this audio is really bad. But nevertheless, through the echo, I'll try to speak if you are not getting the echo. So, can I have the next slide? Now, what the people say is that there is a gap between government, industry, and academia. And the graduates that are coming out, only 42% of these are employable, and the rest, although they have a degree, they are not skilled enough. So this gap needs to be plugged. How are we to do it? So only 2 days ago, the Pharmacy Council of India has launched a new curriculum, and this curriculum is based on the new education policy. This new education policy was rolled out in 2020, and it has taken almost 5 to 6 long years for pharmacy to implement it. So, whatever the contents of the syllabus are, that we are not dwelling upon today. We are talking about the pedagogy, what to do to make this education effective. Next slide, please. So, India must also lead in preparing professionals in cutting edge areas that are fast gaining prominence, like AI, 3D machining and printing, big data analysis, machine learning, in addition to genomic studies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, neuroscience. And all this, we have to view it in the perspective of the sustainable development goals which the UNGA has put forward with regarding to health for all, an equitable environment, and so many more. So I think approximately 5 SDGs apply to pharmacy and its education, its skilling and practice. Going to the next slide. I cannot see the slide. Yeah. So coming to the next slide. This is about the new education policy. Can we go? Yeah. Yeah. So the national education policy, it talks about high quality education programs integrated with effective skills, and skilling has to be aspirational. That is what it is saying. So this new curriculum, it has to be taught in such a manner that we do not bother about rote learning. Rote learning normally was that if whatever is taught in class and if the student is able to reproduce it verbatim, line for line by line, comma by comma, then the student has done a good job. Now it is that you have to understand, to imbibe whatever has been taught, and it has to be based on experience so that you learn exactly what that theory wants to teach you. And so there is this paradigm shift from theory to practice, and that is what experiential learning is all about. Also, there is a great need for lifelong learning. So let us say in my times there were no computers, but we have caught up, we have learned how to handle computers, how to handle them effectively. Whatever new is coming, we are doing all of that. And so, what does it mean? That we have to be lifelong learners. So, it does not mean that once you have done a degree, whether it's B Pharm or M Pharm or PhD, your education is done. You have to keep learning because newer and newer skills will keep coming, and there will be some other disruptive innovation that would be happening on the scene. And our students, what we need to teach them is the art of learning through imbibing or being ready enough to read something which is new and to learn from it and to be able to practice it. So let us say that now in the industry 4.0 has moved to industry 5.0. And what is industry 5.0? It is the man machine symbiosis, which means machines cannot do the job on their own, neither can humans do the job on their own. And in the industry, you need human beings who can handle machines and machines who can handle human beings so that the output becomes perfect. And this can only come through lifelong learning. So now we have something called digital twins. What are these digital twins? Anything that's happening in the industry, there is a virtual environment that is created, and the exact same conditions of temperature, pressure, or whatever other variables are there in the process, they are created. And through this creation, calculations are made very quickly on the virtual digital twin so that you are able to foresee that there could be some problem happening in the process. What has to be changed? Otherwise, the end product would not be the same as desired. So, this is an ideal man machine symbiosis. And how this can be done? It can only be done when we have provisions for lifelong learning, because the machine will keep learning. There's something called machine learning, and all of you know it. And the human being will also have to keep learning. And so, our students have to be taught to do this. They cannot limit their learning to what is taught in class. They have to go beyond classes. We are teaching them the basics. They have to learn the art of comprehension. And so, for that, they need to be mindful of whatever they are learning and to apply it, and each time understand whatever they are reading. For this, we also need a multidisciplinary education. This comes through AI, ML, data analytics, and NEP also says that all this is required. The new curriculum that has been introduced has all of this. We will have to see how we are ready to take this curriculum ahead. There could be some teething problems. I have also not gone through the details because NIPERs have their own curriculum. But whatever little I have seen, it is very, very different from the existing system. And so our teachers will also have to learn. And that is what we are trying to say, that we need to be multidisciplinary. We can learn from other people. We have to be lifelong learners. And this is a vital part of the NEP or the teaching pedagogy that we need. Now, there is also something called multiple entry and multiple exit. Suppose a student comes into B Farm. In the middle of B Farm, he feels he is capable enough to start his own business. Maybe he takes a gap in the education and he is able to start off maybe a e-marketplace where he is selling his own medication, or he is doing some other thing which he feels he is capable of, may or may not be directly related to pharmacy, but he or she feels he's developed the capability. There will be a pathway from which he can exit if he wants. He or she wants to come back after a gap, they can come back. So all this is what NEP professes, and all this we have to be flexible for. We also have to enable creative combinations. So, which means you can take a major in something, a minor in something else. So, let us say that if this student wants to start a business in e commerce, so maybe wanting to take something online, a massive online open learning online course, which is called MOOC. So, suppose wants to learn e commerce online and wants to learn pharmacy offline, that should be possible. So, this is a flexible curricular structure. If somebody feels that they want to practice yoga and they want to see the effect of yoga on medicine, they want to use yoga like a complementary medicine. Again, this is a flexible structure where both can be done in combination. So, that is the major shift that we see. Earlier, we had a very watertight compartment where we would not allow anything else. That Pharmacy Council of India has given us this curriculum. We are not going to move outside. We do not have the space to move outside. But now PCI would provide the space, and even if it does not provide the space, we have to see. So, MGR being a deemed university, a university is a universe, which means you have to give the capabilities to your students to take on extra creative and intellectual pursuits which they feel would make them a better skilled professional. And the new education policy also give credits to a skilling framework. So let us say that somebody does not have a formal MPharm but has 15 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. How much of skilling is required to make it equivalent to a master's degree, and then this student would be able to go directly for a PhD. These are the things that the new education policy talks about. It talks about assignments, accumulation and storage of credit, transfer of credits, and an academic bank of credit for which there is a national academic depository. So, us pharmacy professionals have to gear up to make use of all these pathways that exist for formal as well as informal learning, because what is being given importance, it is only the skilling which is being given importance. Also, there can be credits for industrial exposure. I already told you that. And for that also, credit transfer is possible. Next slide, please. Okay. So to achieve this vision and objective and operationalization of the NEP 2020, the national credit framework has also been developed. Next slide. So here you see the credit framework where there is a skilling axis. People who have been accruing skills year by year and what kind of credits can be given to them for skilling. Then there is an academic level that once a student starting right from grade 5, and every half credit is given to 1 year of learning. So this is how the credit framework is moving along the dimension of academic level. And both of these, the academic axis and the skill axis, can be intermingled together. So a person who has just got open schooling can yet go for higher learning that was already there. But even after experience and number of years of experience and the number of credits accrued, can be called a master or an expert or a proficient or just trained. So trained is the bottom of the pyramid. Then you have a proficient person who has 1 to 4 years of learning. Then you have an expert who has 4 to 7 years of learning, and a master is the highest level that a person can reach in the proficiency axis, that is 7 years. So these are the proponents of NEP. Moving forward, next slide, please. Yeah. So you can see over here that these credits, the credit framework and the credits earned per year are 40. So in one semester, 20 credits are earned, and in two semesters, which makes 1 year of learning, 40 credits are accrued, and this goes right up to PhD. So for UG, PG, PhD, 40 credits per year are being earned. A person can earn more than these, or if a person earns less, he or she can be a slow learner and can accrue these over time. Next slide, please. So what we can see in this teaching pedagogy for skilling up, what do we have to do? We have to reduce the emphasis on theoretical information and increase practical skills. Curriculum for industrial requirements and to match the fast changing pharmaceutical industry. We ourselves have to have a hand on the pulse of the pharmaceutical industry. Where is the pharmaceutical industry moving towards? For example, right now there is a lot of stress on biologics. Biologics was something which the pharmaceutical industry was not doing a lot. We were mostly dealing with small molecules or synthetic drugs. Now we are moving to biologic drugs, which are not small molecules, they are large molecules. This has to become a part of the curriculum. We need experts in all fields of biologics. So recently the government, even in the parliament, there was a mission Bioshakti which was talked about, and 1,000 crores of money has been allocated in the budget towards the development of the biologic industry. So we need to be an innovation driven industry, for which we need skilled manpower, and our skilling, that means our curriculum, the way we teach, we were simply including synthetic small molecules till now in most of the examples that we were giving. We will have to take biologic drugs, how they work, and they are totally different from the way they operate, because it is mostly cell and gene therapy that we are talking about. Over here, why the skilling is necessary? India is known as the pharmaceutical capital of the world. If we do not move towards what is current world over, we will be left behind, because it is believed that over the next 10 years, 40% of the drugs are going to be biological drugs. And so these have to be included in all examples that we teach. Coming to experiential learning, I've already been talking that more and more experience in the real world. So, which means I think the new BPharm curriculum also talks about 2 internships, it talks about 2 projects. These are all ways of experiential learning when you learn while doing, and which is the different type of pedagogy that we need to inculcate in our students.
kept everyone.
So we need to also tell our students more information about how businesses work. Mostly in students' minds, they have a fear that pharmaceuticals are very, very intensive when it comes to money. You have to invest a lot of money, only then you can open a pharmaceutical industry. But this is no longer true. Even if there is one successful molecule that a small entity is able to make, that also has value. And when a bigger pharmaceutical industry takes up that small molecule, you get the money to make four more. So you have that multiplication or a cascading effect that is possible. And there are a lot of ancillary industries which promote or support the bigger pharmaceutical industry. Now we have CROs, which are contract research organizations. You can just do one portion of research, and normally bigger organizations don't want to take risks very early, so they want the basic proof of concept to be done by somebody else, and they would take up that basic proof of concept and take it to higher levels. And so more and more smaller organizations have the chance to show or do research on basic concepts and give it to the pharmaceutical industry, where they are doing some path breaking research. So only yesterday there was this news that India has come up with a new hemophilia drug. First time in the world, nobody has this, and it is a small molecule. It's a biologic that they have developed. So India is definitely making strides, and for this, our students have to be geared up, our faculties need to be geared up. Many of us faculty do not have any experience of the pharmaceutical industry, for which internships should not just be limited to students. Internships can be for faculty members as well. So wherever you think that you can take a sabbatical, you have the place, join an internship in an industry to see how the real world works, so that the skilling that you want to impart, the creative thinking, the higher level problem solving, the interpersonal skills, the innovation, decision making, all that one has to inculcate in students, one has to quickly learn and then pass it on. So, also an entrepreneurship mindset to be inculcated by giving good examples of what is happening. So, a very good example of this is the CAR-T success story of IIT Mumbai. Professor Rahul Purwar of IIT Mumbai was the first to make CAR-T therapy available in India. It happened in a lab in his own institute. He then paired up with the government hospital, which was Tata Consultancy Hospital, and then Tata Cancer Hospital, sorry. And after that, he took help of the government to make the regulatory pathway, because there was no such therapy available, so there were no rules. CDSCO supported in that, and then there was Loris Labs who partnered, and it was possible for Professor Rahul Purwar to bring that solution into India. Imagine the joy that the children who were cured of cancer, their families got out of this therapy. This therapy in the US, it costs more than 3 crores. And in India, Professor Rahul Purwar made it available for 30 lakhs. And so that is what, I mean, things can happen in education as well. It is not necessary that everything has to happen in the industry, and we are not capable of doing it. We are capable of doing it. We have to think big. We have to collaborate. We have to reach out to industry, understand their problems, reach out to clinicians, understand their problems. What are the unmet pharmaceutical needs? Take those unmet pharmaceutical needs as our challenge. Try to teach as much as possible through that. So, next slide, please. Yes. So I was just talking that we have to have collaborations, not just with industry, but with anybody possible who's able to give us clues that what should we be working upon. And at B Farm level, we make the foundation for such type of a learning, such type of a collaboration. And when it comes to masters and PhD, we take a deeper dive. Next slide, please. So the pharmaceutical education, the regulations need to be light but tight. So you make the framework for us, but let us teach it in such a manner that skilling is perfect and students are very confident individuals capable of handling real world problems. So that flexibility in the curriculum is has to be there, and that is why I'm saying that it should be light but tight. The framework needs to be there, but with a lot of flexibility. Next slide, please. So, engaging professors of practice, we all should have some pathways or the other, where through a guest lecture, through a professor of practice, somehow or the other, you are able to engage people from the industry. So, I would request each faculty member, whoever friends, whatever friends from your batches that have gone into the pharmaceutical industry, please talk to them, ask them for their availability of time, and tell them to teach, because what they teach, their perspectives may be different from what we teach, and that is that freshness we require, because that is what is experiential learning that we want to teach our students. So industrial exposure is always meaningful for the trainers. So whenever a friend of yours who's from the industry takes some classes in your institute and university, the faculty members also should learn. They should also attend that class. They should also ask questions. Is that earlier what we did was we did masters in one particular subject. We went deep knowledge into that. So let us say that if I have a master's in pharmaceutics, I would know just pharmaceutics. I would dive deeper and deeper and deeper. But now what is required? A V-shaped specialization. So, which means that I should be good at least two subjects. So, if I am doing with pharmaceutics, I feel that I need to understand clinical trials. I need to understand the rules of clinical trials, because whatever I make has to be formulated and it has to go up to clinics. I may want to have a minor in pharmacology and a major in pharmaceutics. So, just a small example now, this could be e commerce, it could be computer science, it could be programming, computer programming, it could be scripting, it could be AI. So, there could be any two subjects which you want to know a lot about, and this is what is called the V shaped knowledge base, unlike the T shaped knowledge base that earlier existed, where we had a shallow knowledge at the B Farm level and a deep knowledge at the master's level, now shifting to the V shaped knowledge levels that we should have. Next slide, please. So the top 10 pharma industry trends and innovations are AI driven drug development. In pharmaceutical chemistry, we've been seeing this a lot, where there's a lot of in silico drug discovery which is happening, and then that is taking to in vitro and then in vivo. So that was there. But AI is in all possible fields of pharmacy, and that is why it's the entire drug development that we are talking about, not just drug design. Then we talk about personalized medicine, which is cell and gene therapy happening in a big way, and it's able to give solutions which were purely unmet pharmaceutical needs in the past. Now we are able to, somebody who has almost was given a death sentence earlier, that nothing can happen, there is nothing to cure you. Through this, we are able to give solutions. So that is what is personalized medicine, where we are making a difference at the gene level. Then digital therapeutics, a lot of it is happening. There are e-pharmacies, also of mRNA technology. Then real world evidence is being taken into consideration, and a lot of materials, all that is happening, where we are taking feedbacks from the real world and driving it back to come up with better solutions. Also, we are looking at decentralized clinical trials, multi-centric clinical trials for different type of people, looking into their idiosyncrasies, sustainability initiatives where we are talking about circular economies, green economies, even in the pharmaceutical industry, which was earlier doing a lot of harm when there were a lot of chemicals which were just going down the drain. Now there are methods how to neutralize it. So let us say that if you have an acid, you first neutralize it and into a salt, and then you dissolve it and throw it so that it becomes ineffective as an acid. So on and so forth. These are sustainability initiatives which do not harm the environment. And we have advanced gene and cell therapies, already talked about it, more focus on health equity and equality, which means that a person, even at the last mile, can afford solutions if they exist. That is what we are talking about. We are also looking at new regulatory pathways, stringent regulatory control, and so our students should be aware of all these recent trends that are happening so that their learning is
Second slide I
focused
shared.
towards whatever they would like
This person
to see themselves in the future and take a deep dive in those specific areas. No longer it is only pharmaceutics, pharmacology, medicinal chemistry. Specializations are not like that. Specializations are now something like this. Where does the student see himself or herself in future? Next slide, please. Coming to outcome-based education. Now, it's very easy to say OBE, but what does it actually mean? So, everything that we teach, what we need to do is to develop a baseline that right now we are at 0 or we are at 1. And these are the indicators through which we can map our progress. Is our teaching going in the correct direction or not? So, this is just some few parameters like for industry academia interaction. What can the indicators be? The indicators could be the number of projects that we have, the number of events that we host, the discussions that happen, the collaborations or MOUs that happen, how many events in a year, how many industry visits in a year, how many industrial projects, how many conferences, how many technology transfers. So these are just indicators, and whenever you have an increase in your indicators, that tells you that yes, you're moving in the right direction, or you're stagnant, or you're coming down. And this is what outcome based education means. So you just have a baseline and have your own indicators. You can have indicators for teaching a subject, indicators for a course, indicators for a program, indicators for the university or the institute. And for each of these, you can see yourself grow. And that is also a part of the pedagogy where you have indicators which you use. Next slide, please. So the government is also having a lot of significant schemes in the area of pharmaceuticals. Most of these schemes are not there in our books, but what we need to do is to keep a lookout and keep looking. Like the latest scheme that came was the PRIP scheme, Promotion of Research and Innovation in Pharma MedTech scheme, where industries had to have an education partner, and jointly they could have applied for a project which was up to 100 crores. So government is doing a lot, but we should be aware of these schemes. Our students should be aware of these schemes, and we should try to make use of them. Next slide, please. So the Department of Pharmaceuticals only established in 2008. Ever since, a lot of policies have come. So like let us say the National Medical Device Policy of 2023. You may not find it in forensic science books or the latest changes that are made in CDSCO rules. But whenever we read about regulatory pharmacy, or the rules, regulations, forensic pharmacy, we are doing age-old rules rules and regulations, not bothering about what is new. And so this has to be a shift in our pedagogy, that whatever is current has to be taught, and for which you have to keep visiting website of maybe US FDA, of CDSCO. Because we are in India, we should know about CDSCO first, and then we should know about any other policies that happen. Next slide, please. So medical device is also a moonshot area, which means it is an upcoming area, and there is a lot of scope. It is not just meant for engineers, but it is meant for engineers, clinicians, pharmacy people, biostatistics experts, advanced engineering, project management. So all types of people are required in this, and any medical device that is made, the kind of evaluation it goes through, it definitely needs the expertise of pharmacy people. So we should grab this area before somebody else takes it away from us. Next slide. So basically, what do we need to teach our students? We need to teach them concepts of MSMEs and the policies. How you can have a medium or a small case scale enterprise. Can there be funding? How you can go about it? That has to be taught. Industrial infrastructure. What do you need? What is the smallest infrastructure with which you can start? What is big industry infrastructure like? How do you plan an enterprise? How do you go from an idea to a market? What are the traditional enterprises? What are rural enterprises? What is cluster dynamics, where 4 or 5 people can get together? So that is also something which can be done. So this is the credit framework. I think we've already talked about it. Let's skip. Next slide. Yeah, so the institutional development should be a part of the endeavor of every faculty member. And what we need to do, we need to align ourselves with setting targets, evolving strategies, what kind of governance we need for that, what are the academic programs we need to run, how do we manage our human resource, does everybody have to be a full-time faculty? So of course, the Pharmacy Council of India will give you some framework, how you can move out of this framework and make effective use of the talent that exists within the organization, outside the organization, how you can have financial planning for the same, how you can monitor, how you can review. All this should be there in place, and it is the responsibility of the principal, director, dean, heads, and faculty members all jointly to come together to analyze the institute's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges, and then to see that how you can take yourself ahead. Next slide, please.
Then what is that? Geotech.
Next slide. Yeah, so these are the various areas which we have to think about. Next slide. Yeah, so by 2040, all higher education should aim to become multidisciplinary. That is what NEP says. So we also should think about it. Next slide. Some kind of international exposures for our students, for our faculty is also important, so that you know what is the scenario world over. Next slide, please. So we talk about substandard drugs or spurious drugs in pharmacy, but we do not talk about substandard pharmacy education. And there is this concept of non-attending students which is on the rise, that you just take admission and you will get your degree. You need not come to college, you need not attend, and you will get your degree. So this is kind of like a substandard or spurious pharmacy education. So all of us have to be very conscious that these kind of unethical practices should not flourish, and commerce should not overtake quality and ethics. And I'm sure that us being responsible teachers, together we can do it. Next slide. So to sum it up, NEP and this different type of teaching pedagogy, if done successfully, India will have created a new generation of forward-thinking entrepreneurs and leaders, ushering in the age of tomorrow. Thank you, and Jai Hind. So I think that you can transfer. Can it be done from your end, or would I have to do it? And I'm open to questions.
Sir.
Any questions?
Thank you, madam.
Hello.
Thank you, madam. That's a wonderful session. And we have some.
Yes. Any questions?
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. That's a wonderful session. And we have some queries from the participants here. So the first query is why is outcome-based education is important in higher education?
Okay. So not just for uh, teaching and learning and higher education, outcome based should be there for every endeavor of your life. Because if you're not bothered about outcomes and you keep doing something, let us say that if I am in manufacturing industry and I keep manufacturing some product, but there are no takers, nobody wants to market it, nobody wants to buy it, then what is the outcome? So, not until you are bothered about the outcome, you cannot just have an input. The input should always be based on the outcome. So, input and output, or income, or you don't really call it income, but whatever is coming in to the system has to go out. I hope that I'm clear.
Thank you, ma'am. And next one, how does Bloom's taxonomy help in designing, thinking, and assessment methods?
Pardon? Can you repeat the question?
How does Bloom's taxonomy help in designing, teaching, and assessment methods?
Okay, so Bloom's taxonomy was something more like, okay, there's one particular method which everybody learned. There was a software and outcome-based education for that. You needed this, that are you designing your question papers well, how much is difficult, how much is not, etc. But you could devise your own method, your own taxonomy, as long as you're getting results, as long as you are able to say that whatever inputs you are giving, through that you are achieving what you want to achieve. That's all that is important. Not necessary that only Bloom's taxonomy works. Anything can work as long as you are bothered about the outcome.
This is the last question. How do cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains contribute to student learning?
Pardon? Can you repeat?
How do cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains contribute to student learning?
I couldn't get you. You were saying some three things, but what?
These
Can
are
you
the
type?
questions from the audience.
No, I couldn't get the question.
Yeah, I will repeat it. How do
Yeah.
cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains contribute to student learning?
Okay. So psychomotor is one word I could get. I yet couldn't get the other two words because
Other
of
two
this
are,
echo that's happening in which is bothering me.
it is regarding the topic
So
and affective domains. Those who are affected, how these things affect the student learning.
so naturally, whatever you do, it has to be in sync with your brain. So if you're doing something physically, it has to be in sync with your brain. So I suppose this question refers to that. The question is yet not clear to me. But if you could type it, maybe I can read it and reply to it. But psychomotor skills, etc., are more relevant to early education, where students are learning to handle things, grasp them better, work properly. Uh, that skill gets developed by the time that you reach higher education.
Okay, man. Thank you. Thank you very much for the insightful and inspirational session. May I now request Dr.
Was as framed. There is no mapping, actually. There is no mapping. At least this time, the education policy is going to be the education new syllabus they created. At least they provide the correct mapping system that it should be, very good for us. I think
I know.
being
I'm not a part of pharmacy council or any of the, I'm not a member, anything. But I understand that whenever you make a new policy, there should be the way that you have to implement it, that implementation strategy should be in place. What all is required, what is the understanding that's required, mapping, as you said, whatever is required. So I hope that good sense prevails and that is the next
yes,
thing that is done.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Once again. Please accept.
Thank you for the opportunity. God bless. And if I may be allowed to leave now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Vice Principal Academics, Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, to introduce our next speaker. Madam, please.
Respected Principal Sir, dear faculty members, my dear students, it's my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Chirachia, Deputy Chief Dean of Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences at UCSI University, Malaysia. Sir is a fully registered pharmacist under the Malaysian Pharmacy Board. Sir has strong expertise in natural product development, leading the pharmacy practice. Sir has secured several national and international research projects and actively collaborates with industry on clinical and formulation projects. Sir serves as the head of quality assurance and enhancements, ensuring academic excellence and compliance with standards set by the Malaysian Qualification Agency. In his initial role as head of quality assurance and enhancement, Dr. Koh oversees the development, implementation, and continuous improvement of academic quality systems within the faculty. We are delighted to have you with us for this international E-FDP. We request you to deliver the talk of enhancing teaching and assessment through Bloom's taxonomy and outcome-based education. Welcome yourself on behalf of the Faculty of Pharmacy, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Chennai.
Thank you for your kind introduction. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for inviting me to give the sessions regarding the outcome-based learning and Bloom taxonomy. Okay, a very good, I think it's morning over there. Okay, in Malaysia now it's 2:19 this afternoon. Okay, a very good afternoon and morning to all the audience. Okay, my name is Paul. I'm from Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, UCSI University. So today topics I'm going to share a bit about the teaching and assessment. What is this outcome-based learning? How we can actually use Bloom taxonomy in implementations of teaching and learning. So it's kind of like a sharing from my side, okay, and currently how actually UCSI University as well as in Malaysia, how the education blueprint is evolving as well as how actually we implement OBE as well as Bloom taxonomy in our daily teaching and learning, including the assessment of the students. So this is the things I'm going to share today. Okay, so a little bit of introductions before I go into the very technical parts. My sharing some may be a little bit technical, but I try to make it as simple as possible so that audience side you all can understand like what are the things actually we are practicing. So a little bit background on the Malaysian education system, where in Malaysia Actually, all the university in Malaysia, regardless of public universities or private universities, all the programs actually are actually under the surveillance as well as monitoring of two main bodies under the government. Okay, the first one is actually our Ministry of Higher Education, or short form we call it as MOHE, Ministry of Higher Education. So another one is actually called Malaysian Qualification Agencies. So basically, these two bodies, they work very closely, and every year, sometimes every year or every 2 years, they will kind of like conduct checking on all the university programs to see whether they follow the standard and they follow the requirement that actually set by these two bodies in conducting teaching and learning, in conducting classes, in doing assessment. So they are very actively involved in all these activities. Why they are doing so is actually very simple. They want to make sure that all the programs, as long as you approved by Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, the quality must be there. They're also afraid that some of the programs, after they get approval, they're just going to do the things that they like and not follow the standards. So sometimes they will even drop by and do a spot check to see like how you conduct a program. Is it according to what standard that adhere to the government?
72.
So for these two bodies, what are the things actually they do? For MQA, or Malaysia Qualification Agency, what are the things that they do is accredited and monitor program daily. Basically, they are the one that are going to zoom in a very details where how you conduct your teaching and learning, how you do your quality control and quality assurance of your program, how you make sure that your program is actually up to date or meet the standard of industry. As now everyone knows that, especially in the field of medicines and pharmacy, the knowledge is actually evolving every day. There's a lot of new knowledge coming in every day, so the curriculum must always keep up to date. So MQA is the one that's going to check whether your curriculum is always up to date. So this is what they do, okay? And also definitely the last one, they are oversee the quality assurance practice in institutions. So this is what MQA they are doing. Now, how about Ministry of Higher Education? So Ministry of Higher Education is after MQA, or Malaysian Qualification Agency. They have checked the program. Everything looks good. Everything looks okay, meet the standard. Then they will pass it to Ministry of Higher Education to do the final approval of the program. So Ministry of Higher Education, basically they are the one that at the top to oversee everything, the big pictures of the program, to give approval of the program, as well as to ensure that all the programs, they follow the policies, they follow the regulations, acts and regulations that governs the higher education practices in Malaysia. So basically, this is what these two bodies do, and we are very much connected to these two bodies. Okay, so audience, you can see over these slides. Okay, this is actually some breakdowns of different levels of the education actually offered by Malaysia. So from the very beginning, like let's say certificate. So certificate, sometimes they don't even need any prerequisite or entry requirement. Anyone, as long as you are interested in a certificate, you can take up the certificate courses. So certificate actually make up of like level 1, 2, and 3. But when come to a proper higher education, basically it's actually start from level 4, which is diploma. So we, after secondary school or high school of the students, they go into the higher education, or they go into the university, they have options to whether take diploma programs or even take foundation programs. So this is the, I can say it's like a first level of higher education, diploma. So after diploma, it will be higher advanced diploma, okay? If let's say the students wish to take advanced diploma, or the most commonly or the most well-known things that everyone knows is actually bachelor degree, which is level 6. So bachelor degree is actually a very well-regulated in Malaysia, where for all the undergraduate management of the program, when come to approval of a program,
Recording in
any of the
progress.
areas, if let's say not met, then they will not approve the program to run in Malaysia. So they are very particular and strict on all these 7 areas. Now let's go into the outcome-based learning. Okay, so what is outcome-based learning? Is actually not a new concept. It's actually, I think, more than 20 to 30 years we have this outcome-based learning concept and principles. So the meaning is actually very simple. Outcome-based learning is the learning process is actually focused on learning outcome. Means that when we design a course, when we design a program, the first thing first in our mind as educators or as lecturers is, what are the things that I want my students to learn? What is the outcome that I want to achieve? So this is outcome-based learning. So the learning outcomes, we can list down, like let's say for a pharmacy program, okay, what are the knowledge that I want my students to learn? What are the skills that I want my students to learn? What are the values or what are the professional ethics I want my students to have? So all these are listed under the learning outcome. So after we come up with a learning outcome, then 2 questions come out on this. First is, I already know what is my learning outcome. What is the learning and teaching activities I need to conduct to meet the learning outcome? This is the first question. Okay, there's so many different kinds of teaching and learning methods. Can be the common lectures, tutorial, can be a practical session, can be problem-based learning, PBL, can be case-based learning, CBL. So all these are the examples of teaching and learning methods. So after I got my learning outcome, what is the teaching and learning method? First questions I want to ask. Second questions I need to ask myself is, what is the assessment method I need to use to assess learning outcome? Means that after, okay, I conduct my tutorials to the students and responsibilities. So we want to train our students how to lead a team, how to be a team members, what are the skills as leaders. So this is the one. And then cluster 4, personal entrepreneurial skills. This is, we want the students to have the mindset of entrepreneur. In the future, let's say they want to set up their business. What are the things that they need to have? What are the knowledge they need to have? What are the skills they need to have? This is on personal and entrepreneurship skills. And then last but not least is ethics and professionalism. And it is also the most important thing, because regardless of how brilliant the student is, how the students have best skills, the students have best knowledge, but let's say the students have zero ethics and professionalism, is basically we are creating students for a wrong purpose. So that's why cluster number 5, ethics and professionalism, is also part of the cluster that we want the students to have. So when we develop a program, all these cluster 1 to cluster 5 are the things that we need to put in our program, and we need to make sure every single program in Malaysia definitely will meet these 5 clusters, because these are the 5 very important things that we want the students to have. And then this slide becomes a bit technical. Okay, I give you an example. Let's say a Bachelor of Pharmacy programs. Okay, for every program, okay, we need to set up 3 types of learning outcome. First, we call it as program education objective. So what is this program education objective? It's actually a things and statement that after the student graduates, in 3 to 5 years after the student graduates, what we want our graduate to achieve. Like let's say 3 to 5 years after graduation, we want our graduates is in management level of certain companies. We want our graduates manage to lead a team in a company. We want our graduates to manage to start up their SME, small middle enterprise in Malaysia. So all these are 3 to 5 years after graduates. So this is under program education objective. So we need to set for each of the programs. Then next one we want to set is program learning outcome. This one is at the end of your program or at the end upon graduation. What are the things that we want our students to have? This is called program learning outcomes. Okay, so the difference between program learning outcome and program education objective are different, because program learning outcome is right after graduates, what are the skills that we want the students to have? But program education objective is 3 to 5 years after graduation, what we want our students to achieve. So these two are the things that we need to set for each of the program, like Bachelor of Pharmacy. Then, after that, we break down into details, like example, like Bachelor of Pharmacy programs in UCSI. Example, we have 40 courses under the program. Okay, we have chemistry-related course, we have pharmacology-related course, technology-related course, clinical pharmacy-related course. So all these 40 courses, we need to set, okay, what are the courses name? Then each of the course, we need to come up with the course learning outcome. It's like breaking into details, like for each of the course, let's say physical, chemistry, what are the learning outcome I want the student to achieve after they complete the course. So this is course learning outcome. Okay, so these are the 3 levels of learning outcome. Actually, for every program, we need to set all these 3. Okay. So this is a very simple diagram where when we design the curriculum, we need to set a very big picture first, which is the program education objective, which is PO, then down to PLO, then down to CLO. So this is how we design the curriculum. But when we do assessment, okay, it's the other way around. Because assessment is, we cannot do an assessment on PRO because it's too big already. The things in this program learning outcome is too much. So how we do assessment is from course. Let's say a student, how he or she score in particular course, how many marks, what are the grades that the students score in particular course. So this is the CRO, achievement. Then after that, from the CRO, we will know how the students achieve at PRO, then eventually to PO. Okay, so you can see these are the direction of design. When we design is from PO to CRO, but when we do assessment is from CRO, then slowly go up to PO. So this is the difference between the design and also the assessment. Okay. I give you an example, let's say, okay, we set a PRO, okay, this is a PRO, let's say for pharmacy program. Analyze in depth knowledge within the field of pharmacy in national and international context. This is the big one big PRO under the pharmacy program. Then under the pharmacy course, we have different courses. Let's say course number 1 is organic chemistry. Okay. Then under organic chemistry, one of the course learning outcome is actually to discuss to different functional groups of organic compounds. Okay. Then let's say course number 2, we have another course, anatomy and physiology. Then under this course, we have one learning outcome is on explain the function of different body systems. So all these course learning outcome, after that we will map into the program learning outcome. Like the CRO one for each of the 2 of the courses, actually they map into the PRO one, which is we want the students to know the knowledge about pharmacy, okay, regarding different field of pharmacy in national and international context. So this is what I mean when we do assessment, we will assess whether the students have achieved the CRO, then we map to the PRO. So this is how we design, okay, from PO, PRO to CRO. Okay, like over here, okay. I use one example, let's say physical and organic chemistry, okay? So for this course, okay, it's a course under pharmacy program, okay? We design 4 learning outcomes, which is the things that we want the students to achieve after they complete 1 semester of this course, okay? So what we want the students to achieve, first one, like let's say, understand the basic theories and knowledge of general chemistry. Number 2, describe the structures, physiochemical properties of metals and its applications in pharmacy. Number 3, apply the basic concepts of general chemistry in problem-solving process. And last one, apply the principle of molecular theory, chemical kinetics, and acid-base titration in practical laboratory settings. So, when a lecturer they design a course, these are the 4 learning outcomes that they want to achieve for their course. So, after design the course learning outcome, 3 things that we need to consider now. Okay, first one, how am I going to conduct teachings to achieve the learning outcome? So what are the teaching methods? Lectures, tutorial, practicals, or etc. So many different kind of teaching methods. So we need to select the most effective teaching methods for the learning outcome. Okay, first thing we need to consider. How about the second thing? Just now I think some of the audience actually they asked for this Bloom taxonomy. What is this Bloom taxonomy? Okay, so this one, what is Bloom taxonomy? Bloom taxonomy is actually what are the expectations we want the students to have. Is it knowledge? Is it skills? Or is it attitude? So these three actually can translate into what? Translate into cognitive. Skill is psychomotor, as well as attitude is affective. So these three are the big domains of Bloom taxonomy. Okay, because for a certain thought, let's say like this called physical and organic chemistry, we just want the students to learn the knowledge, or we want the students to know how to do practicals related to physical and inorganic chemistry, or whether we want the students to adhere or to have certain kind of values or ethics when it comes to physical and inorganic chemistry. This one is the things that we need to ask ourselves before we design. So this will be under Bloom taxonomy. Then the last one is, how do I know my students have achieved my mention? Okay, so after program learning outcome, we go into the course learning outcome of particular course. Then students is in the middle. As I mentioned, students is in the center of teaching and learning. Okay, it's not about the lecturers. How you want to conduct the teaching. You always need to think from the student perspective. How I can deliver the lectures effectively to the students. This is something that we need to know. Okay, so after that we have instructions like what are the things that what are the teaching and learning methods. Okay, lectures, lab, other learning experience, and then also got assessments. Okay, like whether we want to use tests, whether we want to use classroom assessment. This is for assessment. Then this course learning outcome on top, you can see there's three things: CAP, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Okay, so this is just how what I say is about the Bloom taxonomy. So we need to think for this course learning outcome, what nature we want the students to achieve. Okay, so Bloom taxonomy is to define how well a skill or competency is learned to master. So we have three different things. One is cognitive, or we call it knowledge. It's about thinking, understanding, and intellectual skills. So this is the first one, cognitive. Second one, psychomotor. Okay, it's more on the physical skills and ability to perform certain tasks. It's very important because we don't want our students after graduates they just know everything on papers. Ask them to do a practicals or ask them to do a simple experiment titration. They don't even know how to start titrations. But when you ask in exam, what is titration? Okay, what is the basic principle of titration? They write 100%, 100 marks from the textbook. But when you ask them to do the practicals, do the titration, they don't manage to do. This is something that we don't want the students to have. So that's why psychomotor is very important for every kind of the learning outcomes we need to have. And then the last one, affective. Affective is more on values, attitudes. Okay, it's on emotions, attitude, professionalism, and values. Okay, if you ask me, out of these three, which one is actually the most difficult to measure or most difficult to assess, is actually affective. Affective because it's about values. It's not something that very easy to notice a value in the students. We need time to observe whether the students adapt certain values, whether the students internalize certain values. So that's why it's very important, and it's a need certain proficiency of lecturers to know how to assess the affective domain. So all these three are the Bloom taxonomies that we want our students to achieve. And for each of the domain, actually we have different levels. What is the meaning of different levels? Like cognitive or knowledge. Okay. So for cognitive and knowledge, actually later I will show we have 6 different levels of cognitive where regarding the knowledge, we also need to know what is the expectation, how deep you want the students to know about certain knowledge. Can be you just want the students to understand very basic level, just understand the knowledge. Or you want the students to manage to explain the knowledge. This is higher level already. The student manage to explain. Or you want the students manage to apply the knowledge, even higher level. Okay? The highest level of the knowledge or cognitive domain is actually create. Create is only at PhD level, because at PhD level, we want the student to create new knowledge. Is the highest level. Okay? So if let's say you don't know the knowledge, you don't know how to apply the knowledge, you don't know how to analyze the knowledge, definitely definitely you don't know how to create knowledge because you don't know where's the gap of knowledge. So every domain actually they have different level, and this is also the things that we want to know whether which level we want our students to achieve. Okay, so let's go into the cognitive domain. I give you an example. Cognitive. These are the 6 levels that cognitive domain. Okay, that how deep we want the students to learn. Okay, example. The basic, the most basic one is at the bottom. The highest level is actually the highest level of the cognitive domain. Example. Remember. Okay, remember is the lowest one. The basic one under knowledge of cognitive. So under remember, what are the things that you want the students to know? Just manage to recall the fact, the basic concepts, very basic. This is what you want to the students have under remember. Okay? Understand a little bit higher level. You want the students to explain the idea or concept is a little bit higher than the just recall or just memorize. Okay? So understand. Next level apply. Now, how to use the information to apply a certain condition. This is the next level. Analyze. After applying, you need to analyze. Okay, the application of the knowledge, whether it's correct or whether it's wrong. Next level, evaluate. Evaluate most of the time is under master level evaluations. Okay, they need to analyze and manage to justify why this is wrong, why this knowledge is correct, why this knowledge is wrong. This is the 5th level. And then the last level is create. Manage to produce a new knowledge. It's under PhD level. So this is the 6 levels of cognitive function. Okay, so now back to the examples. Okay, now we know about the cognitive domain. Okay, we go to psychomotor first before we back to the example. Okay, next big domain is called psychomotor domain. Where psychomotor, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 levels of psychomotor. Same thing for psychomotor. We need to judge how deep or how advanced the skills that we want the students to adapt. This is under psychomotor. Okay, we start from perceptions. You see, what is the perception? That lowest level. Perception is just ability to use sensory cue to guide motor activity. Okay, this one the students just listen. Let's say you teach on how to do the practicals. Okay, through the perception, the students know that okay, for titration, this is how I'm going to do the titration. Very basic level, perception. Okay, next level set means that the students already ready. Okay, they gone through the theoretical part, now they're ready to conduct the practicals. This is under set. Next level, guided response. What is guided response? Guided response is, okay, now you call the students, go into the lab, okay? You demonstrate, okay, so this is how we're going to do titration. Okay, the base is on the pipette and beakers, X is there, then you do the titration. So after you demo, you ask the students to follow what you demo. This is level 3. So it's the level under imitation, trial and error. So they follow your steps, follow your procedures, follow your demonstration. This is under level 3, guided response. How about level 4, mechanism? This one compared to level 3, level 4 is without supervision, without demonstration, you ask the students to do titration, students manage to do titration. This is under mechanism. So this is a little bit higher than guided response already because the students don't need any supervision. What is level 5? Level 5 is a combination of several things. Okay? If let's say the students only know how to do titration, it's only maximum level 4. But at the same time, after titration, you want the students to, let's say, formulate the products. Okay, formulate, let's say, a cream. Okay, so under formulation of cream, we have a lot of different procedures, correct? Okay, we have heating, we have need to heat oils and water, okay, to a certain temperatures. After that, need to mix. After mix, they need to have means that a mixture of different procedures, and they manage to do all this to formulate a cream. Then it's level 5, complex over response. Level 6, adaptation. Level 6 is the students manage to do every kind of stuff, formulate a product, and also the students manage to modify it. Means that they notice that this step actually I can improve it. Actually, no need. It's too redundant. I improve it. I refine it. This is level 6. Okay, they not only know how to do, they manage to improve further. Level 7, okay, they create their own procedures. This is also most of the time is at PhD level, okay. They create a method, they validate the method, and they publish it. So this is the highest level of psychomotor. They not only know how to do it, they even can create a new method. Okay, so when we design psychomotor, same thing, we ask ourselves, we want our students just to know how to do it under supervision, or we want the students know how to refine, modify, improve the steps. Then we need to set different level. Okay. Now, last domain is actually called affective domain. Okay. Affective domain we have 5 different levels. Okay. Receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Okay. This one affective domain is a bit difficult to understand and also a bit difficult to access. Why? You see. Okay. First one is receiving. Okay. Affective domain is about attitudes. It's about values. Okay, receiving is the student passively pay attention. Means that maybe you explain the class. Okay, as a researcher, you need to follow certain ethics. Okay, what are the ethical principles you need to have as a researcher? So you explain, and the students sit there and just receive your information, and they're aware that okay, as a researcher, I need to be like this, like this, like this, to be an ethical researcher. So from their side, they just listen. Whether they have that value already or not, no. Okay, they just listen and aware that, okay, as a researcher, I need to have these things. They just aware. This is the first level, very minimal level. Okay, second level, responding. The students manage to participate already. Okay, means that when explain the students, you want the students to do some discussion. Okay, like from a point of view, let's say, which values you think that is most important as a researcher. Then the students, you can put students in the group activities, ask the students go for discussions, after that, do some presentations, example. Okay, so this is second level. Okay. This level, whether the students already pick up the values or not, the answer is no. The students just manage to discuss only. Okay, anyone can discuss. But whether students have internalized it already or not, the values, no. Okay, so this is second level. Third level is valuing. This is the level where the students start to attach to a value. Means that they slowly pick up the values already. Okay, as a researcher, I need to have these ethical principles and I follow the ethical principles already. The students have these values. This is third level. Okay, valuing. Fourth level, organizing. Okay, organizing is let's say, same example, as a researcher, okay, I need to have 10 different values. And sometimes these 10 different values is not work separately. Sometimes one value is affecting another value. Okay? So how we organize all the values together and put it in myself as a researcher. This is organizing. Not only single values. They have different values, they compile it, they internalize it. This is organizing. Level 4. How about the last level, characterizing? Okay, this one very difficult to access because this one, the keyword is the student has this value for lifelong. Okay, not only like after 1 year, I forget about the principles already. Okay, I throw it away already after graduation, I return back to my lecturers. No, okay, it's even after they are in work. Okay, after 10 years in career, they still have this value. This is the highest level of effective domain, and the highest level of domain, the highest level of value that we want the students to have. So this is number 5. Okay, so this is also we want design which levels that we want our students to have. Okay, so just now I have explained on cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. Okay, how we going to integrate it into our learning outcome? You see. Okay, so back to the same example. Understand the basic physical and inorganic chemistry. Okay, first learning outcome. Understand the basic theory and knowledge of general chemistry. This one, okay, under cognitive, definitely, because it's understanding, it's interaction. Okay, which level we want to set this? Okay, I put C1. Okay, means a level 1. They just manage to recall the principle. They manage to recall and understand the principle. Very basic level. I want them to achieve in CR1. So this is on how we assign each of the Bloom taxonomy into each of the course learning outcome. Second one, you see, describe the structures, physical properties of matter and its application in pharmacy. This one, also cognitive, also intellectual, but I want higher level. Okay, I want level 2, means that the students manage to explain, discuss, not only just recall, not only just state, not only just memorize, but they need to discuss. So I put number 2, level number 2, okay, on understanding, okay. Third one, apply the basic concept of general chemistry problem solving. Now, I want them to apply. Apply, same thing, is even higher level than the discuss understanding in cognitive domain. Okay, so this one I put C3, which is application. Okay, I want the students to apply the knowledge. Okay, so you can see back to the here. Okay, so you can see I have level 1, remember, cognitive domain. Level 2, understand domain. Level 3, apply domain in my particular course, which is physical and inorganic chemistry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now go to number 4. Conduct chemical kinetics and acid-base titration practical in laboratory settings. This learning outcome clearly is not cognitive because I want the students to conduct. Means that it's a skills, it's a psychomotor skills. Okay, so it's psychomotor. Okay, but how deep I want the students to learn about conduct this experiment. Okay, I put level 3, P3. Okay, so remember what is the level of P3? Go back to the psychomotor. What is the level of P3? Is guided response. Number 3, you can see over here, guided response. Okay, guided response means that I demo in front. Okay, I demo in front how to do titration. Students manage to follow my demonstration and procedures, and they do it. Okay, with supervision. So this is the level of psychomotor or level of skills that I want my students to have. So that's why I set as P3. Okay, so this is how I put each of the Bloom taxonomy in each of the course of your outcome. Okay, so now you have a clearer idea. Okay, each of the CLO, what is the extent, what is the expectation, how deep I want my students to have. Whether I want the students to have cognitive, whether I want my students to have psychomotor or affective. Okay, so this is the first thing, okay, where we formulate. Okay, so Bloom taxonomy is settled. We complete this thing already. Next one, teaching and learning. Okay, we go into teaching and learning. Okay, after we know the Bloom taxonomy, it's easy for us to design the teaching and learning. Okay, whether we want to use class, whether we want to use lectures, tutorial, discussion, case study. Okay, here is the example. Okay, for cognitive domain, what are the teaching and learning activities that we can have? You can see over here. Okay, lectures, flip classroom, PBR, case-based learning, tutorial. All these are the perfect learning methods for cognitive domain. Because you just want to deliver the knowledge to the students more on interaction. Okay, what's the purpose? To develop critical thinking and knowledge applications. Okay, so this is called the teaching. When you design the learning outcome with cognitive, these are the teaching and learning methods that you can use. How about psychomotor? If let's say I want to train the students on practical skills, what are the teaching and learning activities? Can be lab sessions, okay, demonstrations, simulations, hands-on training, clinical attachment. All these are the methods, teaching methods that we can use. Okay. Last one, effective. Okay, how about effective? Okay, how I can teach effective, which is very difficult to be honest. Okay, how can I let the students know? Okay, or train or to guide the students adapt certain values. Okay, role play, group discussions, reflective learning, case discussions, community engagement. All these can be the teaching and learning method for effective domains. Okay, so now we know the teaching and learning methods we can use. So we can just put in. Okay, so number 1, let's say cognitive. Okay, just level 1. What are the teaching and learning methods I want to use? Can be lectures and tutorial. Okay, lectures and tutorial are more than enough, okay, to address or to deliver or to meet the first learning outcome. Understand the basic theory and knowledge of general chemistry. Okay, how about number two? Also same, I use lecture and tutorial. Okay, number three, even though it's cognitive, but I feel that maybe in class, one-way teaching may not be able to deliver or to let the students to have this cognitive level of application. So what I do case study. Okay, so I discuss case study. Okay, I project a case. Okay, then I ask students. So based on this case, use your knowledge. How you're going to apply physical and organic chemistry knowledge to solve this case. Then I can train the students cognitive level number three, which is on applications. Okay, then last one. Okay, conduct the practicals in laboratory setting. This one I can use practical sessions. I can use practical sessions as a teaching element method. So you can see over here, you can even use Bloom taxonomy to guide you to design the teaching and learning method. Now, the teaching and learning method, you already done it. Last one, how you assess, how you know your students achieve the learning outcome. Here is the assessment method. Okay, so for cognitive, how we can assess whether the students do well in intellectual, in cognitive level, in cognitive domain, can be examinations. The common and most, I think, is the most common way that we use to assess the cognitive. Can be MCQs, multiple choice questions, essay, short answer questions, SAQ, can be assignment, can be case studies, report, can be presentations. All these are the assessment method under cognitive. Okay, like psychomotor. Okay, how can I assess the students really know how to do titration? How can I assess the students know how to do kinetics? Practicals. I use practical exam. OSCE. Okay, I observe. Okay, now you do in front of me. I have a rubric. I will check whether you do it correctly step by step. This is an assessment to assess the students' practical skills. Can be laboratory tests, skill demonstration, clinical assessments, logbook. Then last one, effective. How we can assess effective, which is also the most difficult to assess. Okay, can be reflective journals. Okay, so after some activities, I ask students to reflect themselves. What are the things that you have learned? What are the values that you observe from these activities? You think that is important in the practice of pharmacy? Reflective journals we can use. Okay, portfolio we can use. Peer assessment, supervisors evaluation. A very simple things that let's say just to share with all of you, like master of basic level. A very simple things that whether we want to check whether the students have this punctuality, because punctuality is a very important value that we want the students to have. Okay, so how we assess? We can have this record to see whether each time we have these supervisor meetings, whether the students is punctual. So with the record, we can know whether the students have internalized this punctuality practice or punctuality values. This is how we can use to assess the affective domain. Okay, observation checklist. Okay, OSCE communication stations. All these are the assessment method for the affective domain. So now we put back into the case. Okay, so for learning outcome, what is the Bloom taxonomy? The level of Bloom taxonomy? What is the teaching and learning method? And last one, how we going to assess? Like the CRO one, which is very theoretical, intellectuals, we use midterm and final exam. Same with CRO2, although a little bit higher level, but it's also very, how to say, very context based. So that's why we go for midterm and final exam. How about CRO3? Case study. Then I need the students to submit a case study report on how they solve the case. Then I use case study report to assess whether students manage to apply the knowledge. Then the last one, I use practical exam, okay, to assess whether the students know how to conduct the experiment. Okay, so these are the assessment method, teaching learning method, as well as Bloom taxonomy for each of the courses. Okay, so for all all the courses, let's say I have 40 courses in the program. All the 40 courses, I must have this, okay? What is the Bloom taxonomy? What is the teaching and learning method? What is the assessment method? Okay? Sometimes it seems very rigid, okay? But it actually serves as a very good guide, especially for new lecturers when they want to practice this outcome-based learning. They have an idea, they have a direction of how we can, implement this in my practice. Okay, so all our lecturers, when they newly join, okay, the first training that we always give them is actually on OBE and also Bloom taxonomies and also teaching and learning assessment, or we call it as constructive alignment. All these are the things that we want our lecturers to have as capable teachers. Okay. Okay, so after, okay, each of the course they have their own CRO. Okay, so all the CRO they will map to the PRO. Okay, so as I said, members just now in a very assessment is from CRO back to PRO. Okay, so if let's say we know the student CRO one, what is their achievement, then we can map to, okay, now I know the student overall PRO one, program learning outcome one, what is the achievement? So this is how for 40 courses, all the over 100 course learning outcome, we need to map everything to program learning outcome. Sometimes program learning outcome can only 8 to 11 for a program. Okay, so all these 100 course learning outcome, we need to map to the program learning outcome. And then at the end, we know how the students achieve each of the program learning outcome in the end of the program upon graduation. Okay, so this is something that the Ministry of Higher Education they come up with this. You see, it's something called ICGPA, where with this, I will know that in each of the domain, how the students achieve. Not only knowledge-wise, knowledge is only one of it. Okay. How about practical skills? How about social and responsibility? How about ethics? How about communication, problem solving, information system, entrepreneur? They have this. We call this like something like a spider web. Okay. And then these are all the like the CGPA. Okay, CGPA we use 4-pointer CGPA system. Okay, 4 point is the highest, 0 point is the lowest. Okay, so we can even map this to know that at the end, okay, how is the skills and knowledge of the students. Like you see, the knowledge of these students, okay, is quite okay. 3.3, something like 3.3 is quite okay. Practical skills, this student excellent, 4 point, 4 points, and we also can know what is the weakness of the students. Like you see, entrepreneur, the students just 1 point. Means that although the students very good at knowledge, good at practicals, but don't have this mindset of business, how to do business, how to set up business, how to do human resource management, cash flow management. The students have don't have these skills. So that's why only score 1 under entrepreneur. So this is something that we will do at the end. Okay, so it's like a final result for the students. Okay, how well the students achieve in each of the domain, in each of the skills and knowledge. So this is under Malaysian qualification framework. They have this domain mapping. Okay, so in conclusions, okay, outcome-based learning, okay, focus on learning outcome. The keyword is always learning outcome. Okay, and also learning outcome, we have 3 big learning outcome: program and education objective, program learning outcome, as well as course learning outcome. And when we design course learning outcome, we use Bloom taxonomy to guide us. Okay, cognitive, psychomotor, affective. Okay, to guide us to formulate the learning outcome. And then after formulate, we need to design our teaching method. We need to design our assessment strategy. Okay, appropriate assessment ensures students achieve the knowledge, skills, and values. Okay, without assessment, you just do one-way teaching. You don't know whether the student understands or not. It's basically not really effective for the learning of students. Okay, and continuous alignment and evaluation enhance the education quality and graduate readiness. Okay, so when we design this every year, we will always go through update. Okay, like this learning outcome, obsolete, redundant, remove it. Then we put in a new learning outcome. But nowadays, the Malaysian direction, the learning outcome, they add in a lot of IT AI, sustainability, okay, as well as they also adding a lot of value-based learning outcomes, okay, because they notice that values guides the students in acquiring or getting the knowledge. We don't want the students don't have values, have excellent knowledge. It is not contribute to the society or to the to the Malaysia's society. So that's why we don't want that. So they incorporate a very high component of value. So with the direction of government, we need to incorporate into our learning outcome to revise it so that continuous continuous evaluation is done. So to ensure that always meet the standard of the government. Okay, so that's all from my that's all from my presentation. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Oh no.
Thank you, sir. That's a very interesting talk. So we are here with queries from the participants. So, what is the relationship between CLOs, PLOs, and PEOs in the curriculum design?
Okay. The relationship of POs, PRO, and CRO in what?
In curriculum design.
This one, okay. Okay, so let me give a little bit explanation about this further. Okay, so just as CRO is for each of the course, we have the course learning outcome. Okay, so 40 courses, all these 40 courses they have let's say 3 to 5 CRO for each of the courses. Okay, so after we do the CRO, we need to map to the PRO. Okay, so mapping will be done. Okay, like say for this course it map to PRO 1, for this course it map to PRO 2, for this course it map to PRO 1, 2, 3, example. Okay, the mapping must be done between CRO and PRO. Okay, so these two they have a very close relationship with each other. Okay, because after completion of the course, it also contributes to the after completion of the program what the students have achieved. So this is a relationship between PRO and CRO. But for PO, it's a bit standalone because for PO, it's not to assess the students at the end of graduation or what, no. It's after 3 years to 5 years, we will do an assessment to the alumni. Okay, how we will do is we will do a survey. Okay, with all the alumni. Okay, currently what position actually they holding in the pharma company, let's say. What position they are holding in the hospitals to know that whether our students have achieved certain high of the employment. Then if let's say they have achieved, basically they achieved the program allocation objective or PO. So this is how we're going to assess PO. It's not going through the exam or anything because nothing to do with their academic anymore. It's more on after they work, whether they manage to excel in their work, whether they manage to achieve in a higher position in the work. So everything of this we will see in the PO. So these are the differences between PRO, PO, and CRO.
Thank you, sir. That's very informative. And thank you for the engagement and information. And may I request our president sir to illustrate that speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kaur. First of all, thank you very much for joining and accepting my invitation. And the same way, I want to convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Bhavna. She is the one who is recommending to you. Actually, title actually it is a beautiful title. That is outcome-based education system. Still, many of them they may not understand what is the how to calculate the outcome based, how to mapping, and still they are lagging behind this. But the other country abroad, since I was worked with abroad, first 1 week they taught to me. So what is Bloom taxonomy and OBE? 1 week there was a training. So after that only the deputation to the teaching. because of that, we are giving a lot of importance to outcome-based education. Really, it was a wonderful workshop, and thank you very much for explaining to us and guiding us. Still, we need to cooperate with the things in future. So definitely, there is a conference and some other things. I'll invite you. Please come and join, and please guide us to still more to the OBE and how to mapping to this. Thank you very much for accepting my
It's my honor to do so. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Finally, I request Dr. Manish Shrestha, Department of Council Practice, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, please.
A very good one. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen on internet and text. They must be felt with the heart. Truly, today's session has been very enriched experience. It is my proud to express both of thanks on behalf of faculty policy for this 5-day international E-FDP on sustainable faculty empowerment, advancement pedagogy, wellness and smart science. First and foremost, I express respect and admiration to Professor for their insightful sessions and valuable contributions. Your expertise and thought-provoking discussions have greatly enriched our knowledge and inspired us towards academic excellence. Under the guidance and leadership of our honorable President, Sir, Thiru ACS Ravikumar Sir, and Honorable Thiru A. Ravikumar Sir, and the guidance of respected Vice Chancellor Madam and Registrar Sir, for their constant knowledge, visionary leadership, and unwavering support in such meaningful academic initiatives. I would like to express our deep sense of gratitude to our respected principal sir for his continuous encouragement and guidance throughout the planning and executing of this program. My sincere appreciation goes to all the committee members whose dedicated efforts, coordination, and commitment made this event a success. I also extend my thanks to all the participants for your enthusiastic involvement and active participation for day one, which added great value to this event. Finally, I thank everyone present here for being part of this wonderful academic journey. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for your participation. We look forward to your continued presence in the upcoming sessions of this activity. Have a great day.
Feedback.
And kindly read the feedback that you have provided in the
ஷேர் பண்ணியாச்சு யூடியூப்லயும் பண்ணியாச்சு சார் 20 மினிட்ஸ் முன்னாடி பண்ணியாச்சு வாட்ஸ்அப்பில் ஷேர் பண்ணிடலாம் ஓகே ஓகே சார் க்ளோஸ் ஸ்டாப்
ग्रुप फोटो करना
ஓகே मैम They are leaving and starting. Don't leave, completely switch off. Put a message in the chat box that please complete the business feedback forms. There, huh?
Yes, if someone is
Then again you copy and paste here. நான் யூடியூப் லைவ் ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
Streaming off பண்ணல.
ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் போயிட்டு தான் பண்ணணும்.
அது streaming off பண்ணலாம். நீங்க முடிச்சிட்டீங்களா? டைம் போட டைம் சொல்ல முடிஞ்சிச்சு. இன்னைக்கு ஆஃப் speaking also